I had the pet mall seizures, and then they started happening more often. And I was at work and I might have 3 or 4 a day. But the other part of my brain is working so I can walk, from like the copy machine to my office. And so a lot of people wouldn't even know I was having a seizure. And there was a girl in my office, her name is Glenda, that if I really felt I was having a bad one, I would call her name out. And then she would walk with me down to my office, and she would sit in the other chair in my office, and I'd be at my desk. And, after about 30 seconds to a minute, I'd come out of it and I'd be like, why are you sitting here? And that's when she'd tell me that I had a seizure. Hello, my name is Terri, and I consider myself at this point in time in my life an epilepsy survivor. Um, when I was growing up, I was fine until I turned 20 and had a seizure in a college classroom where I slid out of a chair. Found myself in the ambulance, had no idea why I was there. I think the ones from the left side of the brain are stronger. And that's because that's when I could tell my children, I don't feel well. I'm going to go lay down. And I would take a nap. And after about an hour and a half, 2 hours, I'd be able to get up from the nap and keep going. So those were the stronger seizures. And so, the medicine I've been on, and after having my left temporal lobe removed, I was fine. It's the right temporal lobe that, because they were stronger, we put the device in, and I had a seizure probably about 3 months ago. But I didn't feel the seizure at all. I was so tired. And I told my husband, I think I had a seizure. So the device blocked the seizure, but the last phase of the seizure, which is where you lose all your energy. I went and I laid down for a couple of hours. He came in and laid down next to me because he wanted to make sure, you know. And then after a couple of hours, I got up and I'm like, okay, hey, I'm ready to go. The big issue is memory, remembering how to do something. And so after having my second surgery, that reality is actually showing up to me. And so I use my cell phone because, like I said, I'm learning how to use it as a computer. And you put a lot of notes into your cell phone. Like my son, he brought some friends over and he said, meet so-and-so and meet so-and-so. And I'm like, okay, what's their names? He goes, well, this is Tyler and this is Joe. So next to my son's name in the phone, I have Tyler and I have Joe. So that if I forget their names, I have a way I can find it. But I mean, the damage it does to memory. And I just think we need to have more money put into research and anything that can prevent seizures from having as a child grows up, because it can hurt them in school. Not that they're not intelligent, but I know it can still hurt them in school with not having the memory. The memory and being so tired, and you just really don't want to get up and do stuff. It doesn't make you active in any way. Since I had my first surgery, I've lost a total of 60 pounds. I go work out. And after I lost that weight, my seizure started up again. I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. And I would be walking around the track, and it was in the ceiling of the company I go to. But I would be able to get down those steps to a machine. And so it's amazing how epilepsy affects your brain, but how other parts of your brain are working. I mean, I know I'm lucky. I don't have the grand malls where people accidentally go to the bathroom and stuff like that. To me, having that type of seizure, how much it affects someone. But me, I could be walking, I could be walking to the restroom, go to the restroom, come back to my desk, and then go, wait, what did I do for the last, minute or couple minutes of time? It affects you in the idea that you have no idea what you did for those 2 minutes. You don't know if you were laughing. You don't know if you were, screaming. You just don't know. Now, I know through my history, I don't do any of that, but it's the depression that sits in after you get back and you get back into, whoa, and you're sitting there going, I just have no idea. So I could have said something wrong, not meaning. And believe it or not, the girl I met yesterday, because she was willing to come up and say something to me, because my daughter pointed her out, she says she always asks for water after she has a seizure. And she go, and people were bringing her water, and she was like, why are you bringing me water? And they said, you always ask for water. So it's strange, like I said, how everybody's brain works. Mine, it's just I lose that minute of time on the pet mal seizures. And those were on the left side. The ones that were longer and stronger is where I get weak. And I have to take a nap for a couple hours. So I think they're in about the same part of the brain, just on each side. But triggers, I really didn't seem to have any. They would just happen.